welcome to the channel. This is Guitar for Dummies Peer Tutoring, and I'm Dan Wayne, your peer tutor. In case you wonder what all that means, it just means that I'm no less a dummy than anybody else picking up a guitar and learning. I just want to share what I've learned in 40 plus years of playing, although my real growth has only been in the last 20 something years. But yeah, so I started playing in middle school, got bored after a couple of years of lessons, picked it up again, started teaching myself chords, stuff like that. And then, started playing on the worship team at my church, which really took off my learning because it forced me to learn new things. And then with the advent of the internet, I got to learn new stuff like theory and things like that. Long way from being a music school graduate, but it's helped. So, what's this about? This is about guitars, right? If you're watching this far, you may have some interest. So let's start with the basics. This is a guitar. Thank you, Captain Obvious. All right, or as the Marines would say, there are many like it, but this one is mine. Okay, so it helps to know some basic vocabulary, so when someone else talks about their guitar, you're on the same page, right? Nothing overly complicated about that. So let's talk about the parts that make up a guitar. So this part up here, this whole assembly, is called a headstock. Okay, includes this piece right here, obviously, and then these things, these twisty thingies up here, are called tuners. Okay, which you would use to, that's right, tune your guitar. I know, who saw that coming, right? And then right here, this piece at the base of the headstock is called the nut. Sometimes they're made out of plastic, sometimes they're made out of bone, different materials. And of course, these are the strings. I know. Now, this whole assembly here is called the neck. And this front part is called a fretboard or a fingerboard. All right. And then these, what look like lines on your screen there, are called frets. All right. They're actually wires, pieces of wire. All right. Some guitars will also have dots. Those are called inlays. This one has them on the top of the neck. Many guitars will have both on the top and on the front. This one just has it on the top. Those are just reference points. This way I don't have to, if I'm up here somewhere like, all right, what fret am I on? I can see the dots. I know that they're at certain intervals. Anyway, let's not get overly complicated just yet. Moving on, we have the body of the guitar, this whole assembly at this end of the guitar, which includes your bridge. And this part here where the strings come across at the end is the saddle. So the playing part of the string, the vibrating part of the string runs from the nut to the saddle. These pieces here are called bridge pins. They hold the strings in place into the saddle. All right, into the bridge, sorry. Okay, and then this top piece, well, this front of the guitar, when you're facing like that, is called the top. And then these are the sides, and this is the back. And these little pieces of metal here are called strap buttons. Now these are common to all guitars, or pretty much most guitars will pretty much have all those things. Some of them may not have multiple strap buttons, but that's beside the point. But those are the basic common parts, whether you're talking about an electric or an acoustic guitar. This is an acoustic guitar. Actually, it's an acoustic electric because you can actually plug it into an amp, but it's an acoustic guitar that's been modified to make it so. All right, and then now things that are unique to an acoustic guitar, things like these bridge pins. You generally won't find those on an electric guitar. This is a sound hole. While some electric guitars are semi-hollow and may also have a sound hole of sorts, there's also solid body electric guitars that don't have a sound hole. So generally, yeah, almost all acoustic guitars will have a sound hole. Only some electric guitars will have them. Yeah, so that's the unique parts for an acoustic. Here's an electric guitar. Notice it also has headstock, nut, neck, fingerboard. So here's an example where those dot inlays are on the front of the fretboard as well. It also has the dots, if you can see that there, on top of the neck. Okay, now what it does have that an acoustic generally does not have, with some exceptions, are pickups. These particular ones are called P90 pickups. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm sure that's that $5 will get you a cup of coffee, right? It'll have volume and tone knobs and a selector switch. Pick guards. Some guitars have them, some don't, both acoustic and electric. They're not unique to either. And then also you'll have this output jack at the base that allows you to plug your guitar into an amplifier. Okay. All right, so that's guitars, that's the parts, that's what those things are all called. It helps to know those things. So if you're taking a lesson, somebody says to you, you know, move your hand, hold on to the neck or whatever, that's, you know. When a guitarist talks about playing something on the first, second, third fret, the numbers start down here and come up. Speaking of which, when you're talking up and down on a fretboard, that means tonally. That doesn't mean like up and down, but rather, now, like, wait a minute, if I'm going like this, I'm going this, how am I going up? Yeah, it's tonal. So, see how the sound is going up, hence the term up the fretboard. All right. When you're playing on a fret, as it were, so if I want to play a note on the 3rd fret of the E string, I'll get to that in a minute. You're not actually putting your finger right on the fret wire. You see how it doesn't sound good at all. What you're doing is putting it in this space between the fret wires, but close to the wire or the fret that you want to make the sound. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Incidentally, for future reference, when you're playing something up and down like this, it's called playing it a run of notes horizontally. Whereas if you're staying in one area but going to the different strings, that's called vertically. Again, that may not come up forever. Who knows? All right, so this is your typical 6-string guitar. This one being acoustic. I've already shown you one of my electrics. The 6 strings, they're indicated, or they're referred to by number as well as by their tone. Now, by number, there's 1 through 6, right? Who knew? 6 strings, 1 through 6. This bottom down here is called your 1st string. This top one is your 6th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Tonally, when you play them open in what's called a standard tuning, you have E, B, G, D, A, E. All right. One of the things that helps you, one mnemonic device that can help you remember that, is just think the Easter Bunny gets drunk at Easter. All right. Or if you're going from 6 down to 1, or top to bottom, it's E, A, D, G, B, E. Or you can think eat all day, get big easy. Trust me on that one. I'll tell you from experience. Okay. So that's your strings. That's how they're named, both by number and by tone. Again, it's standard tuning. There are other ways you can tune a guitar besides standard tuning. They've got drop D, they got open D, open G, dad, gad, yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to be focusing almost exclusively on standard tuning. All right, so there you have it. You have your guitars, you have your parts, you have how you move on it, and yeah, so any questions on these particular issues, be sure to put them in the comments below. If you like what I'm doing here, you want to follow what I'm doing, be sure and subscribe. You can get notifications for whenever I post new material. So, I'll see you in the next video.